A shocking declaration. The Galactic Council's Grand Chamber was a marvel of alien architecture. Its vast, circular hall, filled with representatives from hundreds of planets, buzzed with low murmurs and holographic displays. Each seat was occupied by ambassadors of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. At the center of the room, a translucent platform hovered, reserved for those brave enough to speak. Today it was Earth's turn, a rare event, as humans were often dismissed as insignificant by the Council. Ambassador Riley, Earth's chosen representative, stood tall on the central platform. Her sharp uniform, decorated with symbols of Earth's unified government, reflected her unshakable confidence. She scanned the room, her piercing gaze cutting through the dismissive glances and smirks from the other delegates. "We stand here today," Riley began, her voice firm yet calm, "not to request your assistance, nor to beg for your mercy. We are here to deliver a message." The room fell silent. It wasn't common for humans to speak with such authority. Most species viewed Earth as a minor planet, recovering from a plague that had devastated its population only a decade ago. Many believed the humans should be grateful just to be part of the Galactic Council. But Riley's tone suggested otherwise. For years, she continued, Earth suffered in silence. A plague ravaged our people, wiping out millions. We pleaded for help, supplies, medicine, even basic guidance. And what did we receive from this esteemed council? A short silence followed her question, broken only by a chuckle from Terrell, the towering reptilian delegate from the Zorvax Empire. His voice was low and mocking. "Humans begged like children," he said, his forked tongue flicking in amusement. "And children must learn to fend for themselves." The chamber erupted in laughter, a mix of alien clicks, growls, and hums. Riley didn't flinch. She waited for the noise to subside, her calm expression never wavering. "You're right, Terrell," she replied, her voice colder now. "We did fend for ourselves. And in doing so, we learned something important." Terrell leaned back, his smirk widening. "And what's that, little human?" "That the Galactic Council," Riley said, her voice rising slightly, "is nothing but a collection of parasites. You take from the weak, hoard resources, and watch others suffer while you grow fat on power." The laughter stopped instantly. Gasps echoed around the room. Even the holographic observers flickered as their operators leaned in closer, unsure if they had heard correctly. "How dare you?" began one of the delegates, a gelatinous creature whose voice gurgled with indignation. Riley raised a hand, silencing the room. "How dare we? How dare you? You left Earth to rot, thinking we were weak. But we learned. We adapted. And now we've come to repay the favor." A wave of tension swept through the chamber. The Zorvax delegate narrowed his eyes, his amusement replaced with suspicion. "What are you saying, human?" Riley's lips curled into a small, dangerous smile. "Earth has been busy. While you ignored us, we built something special. A gift, you might say, for the entire galaxy." Before anyone could interrupt, she tapped a small device on her wrist. Instantly, the lights in the chamber dimmed, and the holographic displays blinked out. Across the galaxy, planets controlled by the Council experienced the same phenomenon. Ships froze mid-flight, their engines mysteriously deactivating. Communication systems went silent, plunging entire sectors into darkness. The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted over one another, their translators struggling to keep up. Some pounded on their consoles, trying to reach their homeworlds. Others glared at Riley with fury and confusion. "What have you done?" Terrell roared, his clawed hands slamming onto his desk. Riley tilted her head, her calm demeanor unshaken. "We call it Erebus. It's a little something our scientists developed. A system designed to target and disable the technologies of those who wronged us." "You dare threaten the Council?" An insectoid delegate screeched, their mandibles clicking furiously. "This is treason." "No," Riley corrected, her voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. "This is justice. The council chamber grew eerily quiet as the implications of her words sank in. Delegates exchanged nervous glances. For centuries, the council had been untouchable, its power absolute. Now, a species they had dismissed as weak and insignificant had somehow turned the tables. "We could have destroyed your fleets," Riley continued. "We could have crippled your planets permanently. But we chose restraint. This is just a demonstration, a warning." The Zorvax delegate rose from his seat, his massive frame towering over the others. "You think this will end well for you, human? The Council will crush Earth for this insolence." Riley's smile faded, replaced by a steely expression. "Perhaps, but remember this. Earth has nothing left to lose. You pushed us to the edge, and now we're pushing back. If you want war, we'll give you one, but it won't be like anything you've faced before." The chamber was silent again, the weight of her words pressing down on every delegate. Riley turned, her boots echoing against the platform as she walked away. Before she stepped off, she glanced back over her shoulder. "You thought we were weak," she said, her voice softer but no less sharp. "That was your first mistake. Don't make another." And with that, she disappeared into the shadows, leaving the Galactic Council in stunned silence. The war for Earth's justice had begun. A secret weapon. The Galactic Council chamber remained in stunned silence long after Ambassador Riley's departure. Delegates whispered among themselves, their voices tinged with fear and disbelief. Across the galaxy, the effects of Earth's mysterious weapon, Erebus, spread like a silent storm. Power grids failed, spaceports shut down, and the once bustling trade routes fell into eerie stillness. But how had Earth, a planet the Council had dismissed as primitive, created such devastation? Far from the Grand Council chamber, in the heart of Earth's hidden command center, Admiral Chen stood in a dimly lit war room. The holographic map of the galaxy flickered before her, showing dozens of red blips marking Council-controlled planets that had gone dark. Around her, a team of Earth's best strategists worked tirelessly, analyzing the impact of Erebus. "Status report," Chen commanded, her voice sharp but calm. An analyst turned from her console. "Phase 1 is complete, Admiral. Over 70 Council planets are experiencing technological blackouts. Ships are immobilized, communication systems offline. No reports of countermeasures so far." Chen nodded, her face expressionless. "Good. Ensure all cloaked fleets remain hidden. We can't afford mistakes." As she spoke, the holographic display zoomed in on a cluster of Council planets. These worlds were the backbone of the Galactic Council's economy, rich with resources and advanced technology. Now they were defenseless, floating in the void like shattered jewels. The birth of Erebus. The story flashes back to a decade earlier, during the darkest days of Earth's plague. Billions had died, cities were abandoned, and humanity teetered on the brink of collapse. Earth had sent desperate messages to the Galactic Council, begging for aid. But the Council, viewing Earth as a minor, unimportant world, refused to divert resources. In their despair, humanity turned inward. Governments, corporations, and independent scientists banded together in an unprecedented effort. They knew they couldn't rely on alien help. They would have to save themselves. It was during this time that Erebus was conceived. Initially, it was meant as a defense system to protect Earth from outside threats. But as humanity rebuilt, anger and bitterness toward the Council grew. The system evolved into something more, a weapon that could level the playing field against the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. Dr. Elena Morozov, the lead scientist behind Erebus, was a visionary. They think their technology makes them invincible, she had told Earth's leaders during the weapons unveiling. What they don't realize is that their dependence is their greatest weakness. Erebus won't destroy their worlds. It will show them how fragile they truly are. The Council's denial. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the delegates struggled to comprehend what was happening. Terrell, the Zorvax representative, slammed his clawed hand on the table, silencing the murmurs. Enough of this panic. He roared, his deep voice reverberating through the hall. The humans are bluffing. Their weapon is a trick, nothing more. We must respond with overwhelming force and crush them before they gain any momentum. A smaller insectoid delegate clicked nervously. And how do you propose we do that, Harold? Our fleets are grounded, our communication lines are silent, and we can't even launch a single drone. How do we fight an enemy we cannot see? Terrell bared his sharp teeth. We don't need fleets to deal with humans. They are a single planet, isolated and vulnerable. We send infiltration teams, find the source of their weapon, and destroy it. The chamber buzzed with reluctant agreement. Earth might have delivered the first blow, but the Council's arrogance remained intact. They believed humans were incapable of sustaining a prolonged conflict. Little did they know, Earth had prepared for every eventuality. The hidden fleet. In a remote sector of space, hidden behind an asteroid belt, Earth's secret fleet lay in wait. Unlike the massive armadas of the Galactic Council, Earth's fleet was small but deadly. Every ship was equipped with advanced cloaking devices, experimental weapons, and adaptive AI systems, all products of Earth's rapid technological evolution. Admiral Chen stood aboard the flagship, the Vanguard. She watched as engineers fine-tuned the ship's systems, preparing for the next phase of their operation. Beside her, Commander Malik, her trusted second-in-command, frowned at the tactical display. "Do you think the Council will take the bait?" Malik asked, his voice low. Chen didn't take her eyes off the screen. "They have no choice. Their pride won't let them ignore us. They'll send their best operatives to hunt for Erebus. And when they do, we'll be ready." Malik nodded, though his concern didn't fade. "And if they retaliate with full force?" Chen turned to face him, her expression unyielding. "Then we show them what humanity is capable of. They underestimated us once. They won't get the chance to do it again." The Council's spies. Meanwhile, Terrell's plan was already in motion. The Zorvax Empire had some of the most skilled spies in the galaxy, trained to infiltrate even the most secure facilities. A team of these operatives was dispatched to Earth, disguised as traitors. Their mission was simple: locate the Erebus Control Center and destroy it. The operatives landed in a bustling Earth city, marveling at how quickly humanity had rebuilt after the plague. Beneath the surface, they could sense the tension, a planet preparing for war. Their first stop was a local marketplace, where they blended in among the crowds, gathering information. But unknown to them, Earth's intelligence network was already watching. Dr. Elena Morozov had anticipated this move and ensured that Earth's cities were laced with surveillance drones and undercover agents. The spies would soon find themselves outmaneuvered, their every move shadowed by Earth's operatives. The revolution begins. Back in the war room, Admiral Chen received a secure transmission from Ambassador Riley. Her face appeared on the holographic display, her expression grim. "The Council is moving," Riley reported. "They're sending infiltrators. It's only a matter of time before they realize Erebus is just the beginning." Chen's lips curled into a faint smile. "Good. Let them come. The more they focus on Erebus, the less they'll see the real threat." "And what is the real threat?" Riley asked. Chen's eyes gleamed with determination. "Us. Humanity isn't just fighting back. We're rising up. They wanted us to stay silent and obedient. Instead, we're about to change the galaxy forever." As Riley ended the transmission, Chen turned to her crew. "Prepare for Phase 2. The Council thinks they're dealing with a single weapon. Let's show them they're dealing with an unstoppable force." The room erupted in cheers as Earth's rebellion shifted into high gear. The stage was set for a battle that would shake the galaxy to its core. The Council's panic. The Galactic Council's inner sanctum was a place of controlled chaos. Delegates known for their calm and calculated demeanor now shouted over one another, their holographic screens filled with reports of growing outages. The galaxy's most advanced civilizations were suddenly vulnerable, their fleets grounded, their planetary defenses crippled. Fear, a rare visitor to the council chamber, now sat at the head of the table. Terrell, the hulking Zorvax delegate, towered over his colleagues, his claws scraping against the stone table. His scales shimmered under the dim light as he glared at the assembled representatives. "This is an act of war," he bellowed. "If we do nothing, the humans will think they have already won." "Think," shrieked Lichta, the insectoid ambassador from the Krail system. Her many legs twitched nervously. "Look around, Terrell. We have lost control. Half the galaxy is dark. Our fleets cannot move. Communications are severed. If this is just a warning, what happens when they escalate?" Her words hung in the air like a storm cloud. The council, so used to wielding unchecked power, was now grappling with its own fragility. The silence was broken by Therix, the elder delegate of the crystalline Arcanids, whose voice was calm yet piercing. "We underestimated humanity," Therix said, his glowing form refracting light around the chamber. "Their resilience, their ingenuity, and their rage. We thought their silence was submission. We were wrong." A fractured alliance. Behind closed doors, the council members met in smaller factions. The once unified governing body was now riddled with cracks. The larger, more arrogant empires like the Zorvax and the Galans wanted immediate retaliation. They argued that humanity, still just one planet, could be crushed with brute force once the Erebus system was neutralized. But smaller, less powerful species, who had also suffered under the Council's exploitative policies, began to question their loyalty. Many of them whispered among themselves, wondering if humanity's uprising could be their opportunity to escape the Council's shadow. "What if the humans are right?" one delegate murmured to another. "We've all seen how the Council prioritizes its core members, leaving the rest of us to fend for ourselves. Perhaps Earth's rebellion is the beginning of something new." The seeds of dissent had been planted. For the first time in centuries, the Council was not just fighting an external threat. It was fighting to hold itself together. Earth's secret revealed. While the Council bickered, their spies on Earth began piecing together the mystery of Erebus. Disguised as traders and researchers, they infiltrated human cities, observing the planet's rapid transformation. What they found was both astonishing and terrifying. Earth had evolved into a fortress. Where once there were sprawling, vulnerable cities, now there were underground bunkers, shielded facilities, and hidden manufacturing hubs. The plague that had devastated humanity had forced them to innovate at an unprecedented pace. The spies discovered that Earth's scientists had turned their despair into determination, creating technologies that rivaled, and in some cases surpassed, the Council's best. But the most shocking revelation came when the spies uncovered Earth's secret alliances. In a hidden facility deep beneath the Andes Mountains, they found evidence of human collaboration with alien races, species the Council had marginalized or oppressed. Among them were the Tekeri, a nomadic race of engineers known for their unmatched expertise in energy systems, and the Varlik, a stealthy species whose cloaking technology had made them legends in galactic warfare. Together, these allies had contributed to the creation of Erebus. But more importantly, they had shared something far more valuable: intelligence on the Council's weaknesses. The Council's countermove. When the spies transmitted their findings back to the Council, it was clear that Earth's rebellion was not an isolated act. It was the spark of a larger movement. Panic turned to anger as the Council scrambled to respond. Terrell led the charge, demanding immediate action. "We strike now," he roared. "If the humans think they can challenge the galaxy, we will show them the price of defiance." "But our fleets are still grounded," Lichta countered, her voice trembling. "Even if we gather what remains, we risk losing more if we underestimate their capabilities again." Terrell sneered. "Then we do not fight in space. We fight on the ground. We send our elite forces to Earth, destroy Erebus, and crush their spirit before they can spread this rebellion further." The Council reluctantly agreed. They dispatched their most feared ground forces, legions of cybernetic soldiers, genetically enhanced warriors, and covert operatives. The mission was clear: infiltrate Earth, locate the Erebus Control Center, and end the rebellion before it could ignite a full-scale revolution. A trap laid bare. But Earth had anticipated this move. Deep within a hidden bunker, Admiral Chen reviewed intercepted transmissions from the Council's forces. The room was filled with the hum of advanced machinery, the air thick with tension. "They're sending their best," Chen said, her tone calm but firm. "Good. We've been waiting for this." Beside her, Dr. Elena Morozov smiled faintly. "They still think Erebus is the heart of our operation. They don't realize it's just the beginning." "What's the plan, Admiral?" Commander Malik asked. Chen turned to her team, her eyes cold and calculating. "We let them come. We let them think they're winning. And then we show them just how far humanity is willing to go." As the Council's forces descended toward Earth, they found themselves navigating a planet transformed into a labyrinth of traps and defenses. Entire cities were decoys, laced with EMP mines and automated turrets. Underground tunnels led them into dead ends, where human soldiers waited with advanced weaponry. The Council's elite forces, so used to overwhelming their enemies, now found themselves outmatched and outmaneuvered. The rising tide. While the Council struggled on Earth, whispers of rebellion spread across the galaxy. On distant planets, smaller civilizations began resisting the Council's authority. Inspired by Earth's defiance, they sabotaged Council supply lines, disabled outposts, and refused to pay tributes. In the shadows of the galaxy, Ambassador Riley met with representatives of these worlds. Her words were simple yet powerful. "We were forgotten. We were left to die. But we rose from the ashes. Together, we can ensure no one is forgotten again." As alliances formed and rebellions grew, the Council's power began to crumble. What had started as Earth's revenge was quickly becoming a galaxy-wide revolution. Cliffhanger. Back in the Council chamber, Terrell received a chilling message from his ground forces. "Earth, it's not what we expected. The humans, they're waiting for us." The message ended abruptly, leaving only static. Terrell's claws tightened, his anger masking the unease growing in his chest. For the first time, he wondered if the Council had made a grave mistake. And far away on the vanguard, Admiral Chen watched as Earth's forces prepared for the next phase. "They thought this was about revenge," she said softly. "But this is about freedom. And we won't stop until the galaxy is ours." Earth's hidden allies. The Council's invasion forces were a shadow of their usual dominance. Disabled ships drifted in orbit around Earth, their once bright engines cold and silent. On the planet below, elite ground troops struggled through a maze of misdirection and traps. The Council had underestimated Earth, not just in technology, but in their alliances, a mistake they were about to regret. The power of unity. In a hidden bunker deep within Earth's Himalayan fortress, Dr. Elena Morozov stood before a holographic council of Earth's most secretive and powerful allies. The Takari, the Varlik, and the Olorus, all alien species that had been pushed to the margins of the galaxy by the Galactic Council, sat in shimmering projections, their forms flickering with soft blue light. "The Council has sent their best to break us," Elena said, her tone calm yet firm. "They believe they can divide us, pit us against one another. But together, we are more than they could ever imagine." The Takari leader, a tall, angular figure with glowing golden eyes, nodded. "Your species has impressed us, Dr. Morozov. In such a short time, you've built what others have dreamed of for centuries. We are honored to fight alongside you." The Varlik, represented by a hooded figure, whose face was hidden behind layers of shifting shadow, spoke next. "The Council's arrogance blinds them. They see themselves as gods. It's time we remind them they are mortal." With a simple gesture, Morozov activated the next phase of their plan. Across Earth's skies, cloaked ships began to decloak, revealing a combined fleet of human and allied vessels. The Council's spies, scattered across the planet, watched in horror as the scale of Earth's preparations became clear. A battle of wits. The Council's infiltration team, led by an infamous operative named Kale, pushed deeper into Earth's defenses. Kale was no ordinary soldier. He was a hybrid, genetically enhanced with abilities that made him stronger, faster, and smarter than most beings in the galaxy. His team had bypassed traps and avoided detection so far. Their goal clear: find and destroy the Erebus control center. Kale's second-in-command, a cybernetic strategist named Volrin, paused at a fork in the underground tunnels. "They're hurting us," Volrin said, his mechanical voice echoing. "Every path we've taken leads us deeper into their territory. This isn't defense. It's a trap." Kale clenched his jaw. He had begun to suspect the same. "We don't stop. Erebus must be neutralized, or the Council will fall." Unknown to them, Admiral Chen and her operatives were watching their every move. In a hidden control room, holograms displayed the team's progress. Chen smirked as she turned to Commander Malik. "They're persistent. I'll give them that," Chen said. "But persistence won't save them. Activate the phantoms." The phantoms of Earth. In the darkness of the tunnels, Cal's team suddenly froze. A faint hum echoed through the air, followed by a low guttural growl. The sound didn't come from one direction. It came from everywhere. The Council operatives raised their weapons, their enhanced senses scanning for movement. Then they saw them. The phantoms were Earth's most terrifying creation, a fusion of human ingenuity and Varlic stealth technology. These semi-autonomous drones moved like living shadows. Their sleek, black forms flickered in and out of sight, their sharp, metallic limbs glinting in the dim light. They didn't attack immediately. Instead, they stalked the team, studying their movements, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Cal's voice was steady, but his team could hear the tension beneath it. "Stay together. They'd want us to panic." The phantoms struck without warning. Silent and precise, they disabled two operatives before the team could react. Volrin fought back with his augmented strength, tearing one phantom apart, but for every drone destroyed, another appeared. Cal realized they couldn't win this fight. "Retreat. We need to regroup." But the tunnels shifted around them. Walls slid into place, sealing off their escape routes. Cal cursed under his breath. They weren't just in a trap. They were in a game, and Earth controlled the board. A growing revolution. While the Council's forces struggled on Earth, the galaxy beyond was beginning to change. Small, oppressed planets, inspired by Earth's defiance, started to rise. On the mining world of Sera 9, workers revolted against their Council-appointed overlords, seizing control of the planet's resources. On Velrith, a communications hub, technicians sabotaged the Council's data networks, sending encrypted messages of rebellion across the galaxy. Earth's allies, led by the Takari and the Varlic, quietly expanded their support network, providing weapons, intelligence, and covert operatives to these budding rebellions. Ambassador Riley, traveling aboard a cloaked ship, met with leaders from these planets, offering Earth's assistance in exchange for their loyalty to the growing movement. In one such meeting, a young revolutionary named Kara asked Riley a pointed question. "What happens when the Council falls? Who takes their place? How do we know Earth won't become the next oppressor?" Riley's response was firm. "We don't want to rule. We want freedom. For everyone. The Council has divided us for too long. Together, we can build something better, but we can only succeed if we trust one another." The Council's growing desperation. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the leaders of the most powerful civilizations were beginning to crack under the pressure. Reports of sabotage, rebellion, and failure poured in from every corner of the galaxy. Terrell, once so confident in the Council's might, now paced furiously. "We are losing control," he roared, slamming his claws against the table. "This is no longer just about Earth. This rebellion is spreading like a disease." Therix, the elder crystalline delegate, responded with quiet determination. Perhaps it is time we consider the possibility of negotiation. Terrell turned on him, his eyes blazing. Negotiate? With humans? With these traitorous worms? Never. But Therix's words resonated with others in the chamber. For the first time, cracks appeared in the council's unity. Some members began to openly question their loyalty, wondering if aligning with Earth might be the better path. Cliffhanger. Back on Earth, Admiral Chen watched as the council's infiltration team stumbled into the final phase of her trap. The holographic map before her displayed their exact location, a dead-end chamber deep within the labyrinth. She tapped a button, activating the final defense system. In the chamber, Kale and his team found themselves surrounded by walls that began to hum with energy. A voice echoed through hidden speakers. It was Chen. You wanted Aravis. You found it. But it's not what you think. As the walls began to glow, Kale realized the truth too late. This wasn't a control center. It was a testing ground. Earth wasn't defending Erebus. They were perfecting it. The screen cut to black, leaving Chen with a satisfied smile. Checkmate. The Council strikes back. The Galactic Council had been humiliated, its fleets disabled and its elite operatives caught in Earth's labyrinth of traps. But the Council was not an entity that accepted defeat lightly. Deep within their secretive core worlds, plans were set into motion. Plans that would not just strike back at Earth, but obliterate it. Desperation breeds innovation. In the Council's hidden weapons facility on Joreth Prime, Terrell, the Zorvax leader, met with Dr. Velrix, the galaxy's foremost weapon scientist. Velrix, a pale, insectoid creature with multiple shimmering eyes, stood before a pulsating sphere of light suspended in a containment field. This, Velrix hissed, pointing at the sphere, is the Nexus Singularity, a weapon so powerful it can consume an entire planet in a burst of energy. We never deployed it, until now. Terrell's reptilian lips curled into a cruel grin. Then let Earth witness the true might of the Council. Deploy the Nexus. But Velrix hesitated. There is risk. The weapon's energy cannot be precisely controlled. Using it could destabilize surrounding systems. Terrell slammed a clawed hand onto the table. I do not care for risks. Earth has made a mockery of us. They must be wiped from existence. As Velrix reluctantly prepared the Nexus for deployment, a shadow lingered in the room. Unknown to Terrell, dissent was growing even within his own empire. Some of his subordinates, disillusioned by the Council's brutality, began leaking information to Earth's allies. Earth's allies unleashed. In Earth's Himalayan fortress, Dr. Morozov was deep in a meeting with leaders from the Takari and Varlik. A message flashed across her holographic display, intercepted from a Council transmission. Nexus Singularity weapon en route to Earth. Impact in 72 hours. The room fell silent. The Takari leader, their golden eyes glowing with determination, spoke first. If the Nexus reaches your planet, there will be nothing left. Admiral Chen, joining the meeting via projection from Earth's orbital command station, clenched her fists. Then we won't let it reach us. What's their deployment method? Dr. Morozov analyzed the data. It appears to be a stealth vessel. Fast, highly shielded. We'll need Takari energy disruptors to weaken their defenses. The Varlik leader, shrouded in their signature shadowy cloak, nodded. And Varlik cloaking technology to intercept them before they strike. This will not be an easy battle. Chen's expression hardened. Nothing about this has been easy. But Earth doesn't stand alone anymore. Let's show the Council what we can do, together. The space ambush. Far from Earth, the Council's stealth vessel carrying the Nexus Singularity weapon sped through deep space. Its shielding systems were near impenetrable, and its stealth drive made it invisible to most detection systems. But humanity and their allies had prepared a trap. Using Varlik cloaking technology, a joint fleet of human and Takari ships lay in wait near a star system with heavy gravitational interference. The Takari disruptors, mounted on Earth's advanced frigates, were calibrated to target the stealth vessel's energy core. As the Council's ship entered the system, it slowed to navigate the gravitational currents. That was when the trap was sprung. Engage disruptors. Admiral Chen commanded from the vanguard. Beams of shimmering blue light shot from Takari-enhanced ships, striking the stealth vessel. Its cloaking field flickered, revealing the massive, sleek black craft. Inside the Council ship, alarms blared. The captain, a Zorvax loyalist, shouted, "Shields holding at 70%. Increase power to propulsion. Get us out of here." But before the vessel could escape, Earth's strike fighters, piloted by some of humanity's best, descended like a swarm of hornets. They targeted the ship's engines, using high-precision EMP torpedoes to disable its thrusters. The Varlik joined the fray, their sleek, shadowy ships weaving through the battle, firing pinpoint disruptor beams that chipped away at the Council ship's defenses. A desperate gamble. The Council ship's captain, realizing they couldn't escape, made a desperate decision. Activate the Nexus. If we go down, we take them with us. Inside the containment chamber, the Nexus singularity began to pulse violently. Its energy levels spiked, threatening to rip the ship apart and take everything in a 1,000-kilometer radius with it. On the Vanguard, Admiral Chen's eyes widened as her sensors detected the Nexus activation. They're going to detonate the weapon. All ships, pull back. But pulling back wouldn't save them. The Singularity's explosion would engulf the entire fleet, and Earth would be defenseless against the next attack. Options, now. Chen barked. Dr. Morozov's voice came through the comms. There's only one chance. If we can destabilize the Nexus core before it fully charges, the reaction will collapse in on itself instead of expanding. But you'll need to get someone on board that ship. Chen's gaze shifted to Commander Malik, who stood at her side. Prep a boarding team. Malik nodded. Understood. The heroic strike. A team of elite human and Varlik operatives, led by Commander Malik, launched from the Vanguard in a cloaked shuttle. They docked onto the Council ship under heavy fire and breached its hull. The corridors inside were chaos. Council soldiers, desperate to hold their ground, clashed with the boarding team in a brutal firefight. Malik's team pushed through, reaching the containment chamber where the Nexus pulsed like a miniature sun. Dr. Morozov guided them remotely, her voice steady despite the stakes. Target the stabilization nodes on the core, she instructed. Disable them simultaneously, or the reaction will spiral out of control. Malik and his team worked quickly, planting Varlik-designed disruptor charges on the nodes. The Council captain, realizing what was happening, sent reinforcements to stop them. A fierce battle ensued, with the operatives fighting to the last breath to hold the line. As the disruptor charges detonated, the Nexus core began to collapse. Malik and his team barely escaped the containment chamber before it sealed shut, the Singularity folding in on itself in a dazzling implosion. The Council ship was destroyed, but the fleet and Earth was saved. The cost of victory. Back on Earth, Admiral Chen received the news of the mission's success with a mixture of relief and sorrow. Malik's team had succeeded, but at great cost. Many of the operatives had sacrificed themselves to ensure the Nexus didn't reach its full potential. Ambassador Riley addressed Earth's allies via hologram. This victory wasn't just ours. It was all of ours. Together, we've proven that the Council isn't invincible. But this fight is far from over. On the Council's core world, Terrell raged as he received the report of the failed mission. They've made us look like fools again, he snarled. If brute force won't work, then we'll destroy them from within. Unbeknownst to Earth, Terrell had already sent agents to infiltrate their new alliances, aiming to sow distrust and fracture the growing rebellion. Cliffhanger. As Earth and its allies celebrated their victory, a transmission came through on a secure channel. It was a distorted voice, claiming to be from inside the Council. They're planning something bigger, something worse, and you don't have much time. The screen flickered off, leaving Admiral Chen and Ambassador Riley to wonder, was this a genuine warning or the first step in the Council's next move? Betrayal and sacrifice. The victory against the Nexus Singularity weapon had brought Earth and its allies a fragile sense of hope. Across the galaxy, oppressed civilizations were emboldened by humanity's defiance. The Galactic Council was reeling, its authority challenged like never before. But in the shadows, a darker game was being played, one that would test the fragile trust holding the rebellion together. The seeds of betrayal. In a remote Tekari outpost on the moon of Loxus IV, a high-ranking Varlic emissary named Sorvin met secretly with a cloaked figure from the Galactic Council. The air was tense, heavy with unspoken deals. "You want Earth to win, but you forget," the Council agent said, their voice distorted through a translator. "Humans are new to this galaxy. Do you think they'll stop once the Council falls? They'll replace us. And then who do you think they'll turn on first?" Sorvin's shadowed face was unreadable, but his silence spoke volumes. The Varlic, known for their pragmatic and survival-driven culture, had always been wary of alliances. The Council's promise of autonomy, if they betrayed Earth, was tempting. "We'll consider your offer," Sorvin said finally, his voice cold. "But if you're lying, there won't be a galaxy left for you to rule." A galaxy on edge. Back on Earth, Ambassador Riley was preparing to address the rebellion's growing network of allies. Reports of Council infiltrators had begun to trickle in. Small acts of sabotage, whispers of distrust. Riley knew the rebellion's greatest strength was unity, and unity was now under attack. In the Himalayan Command Center, Riley stood before a holographic map of Allied territories. Admiral Chen and Dr. Morozov joined her, their expressions grim. "The Tekari leadership is holding back key resources," Chen said. "They claim logistical issues, but I think they're starting to doubt us." Morozov chimed in. "It's worse with the Varlic. Our intelligence reports unusual communications between their leaders and Council-controlled systems. If they've been compromised, they'll tear us apart from the inside." Riley finished. She took a deep breath. "We need proof. If there's a traitor among us, we need to root them out before the Council exploits it." The Council's countermove. In the Galactic Council's war chamber, Terrell stood before a holographic projection of Sorvin. "You've planted the seeds of doubt," Terrell said, his voice smug. "Now water them. Delay Earth's forces. Sow chaos among their allies. And when the time comes, we'll deliver the killing blow." Sorvin hesitated. "If I do this, the Varlic will expect full independence when this is over." "You'll get your independence," Terrell lied, his reptilian eyes narrowing, "just as soon as Earth is ashes." Unbeknownst to Sorvin, the Council had no intention of keeping its promises. The Varlic's betrayal would be a means to an end, and nothing more. The Web Titans. In Earth's orbital command station, Admiral Chen was monitoring fleet deployments when an urgent message came through. It was from Kara, the young revolutionary leader Riley had recruited from the mining planet of Sera 9. "Ambassador Riley," Kara said, her holographic image flickering. "One of our supply convoys was ambushed. Tekari forces claim it was a Council attack, but our scans showed Varlic cloaking signatures. What's going on?" Riley exchanged a troubled glance with Chen. "We'll investigate immediately. Keep your forces calm. If we fracture now, we lose everything." But the damage had been done. Across the galaxy, whispers spread of Varlic treachery, and the Tekari, already cautious, began pulling their fleets back to their home systems. The unthinkable betrayal. In a dramatic twist, Sorvin and a faction of Varlic defectors revealed their hand. During a joint operation to secure a strategic Council-held planet, they turned their weapons on Earth and Tekari forces, crippling the mission. The Council's forces swooped in, retaking the planet and dealing a severe blow to the rebellion. Admiral Chen, watching the devastation unfold on the tactical map, clenched her fists. They were working with the Council all along. Riley's voice was icy. "Not all of them. Sorvin's betrayal doesn't speak for every Varlik. But if we don't act quickly, the Council will use this to destroy what little trust we have left. The sacrifice. Determined to salvage the alliance, Riley proposed a bold plan to confront the Varlik leadership directly and expose Sorvin's betrayal to the galaxy. She and a small team infiltrated a neutral Varlik base where the Leadership Council was meeting in secret. But the mission quickly turned deadly. As Riley presented evidence of Sorvin's betrayal, Council agents ambushed the meeting. A firefight erupted, and Riley's team was pinned down. Among the chaos, one of Earth's operatives, Captain Rice, made a fateful decision. "Go," Rice shouted, covering Riley and the surviving team members as they retreated. "The rebellion needs you alive." Despite Riley's protests, Rice held his ground, taking out multiple Council agents before being overwhelmed. His sacrifice bought the team enough time to escape with critical evidence, recordings of Sorvin's deals with the Council. The turning point. The evidence was broadcast across the rebellion's network, exposing Sorvin and his faction as traitors. The Varlik leadership, faced with overwhelming pressure from their own people, disavowed Sorvin and reaffirmed their loyalty to the rebellion. Ambassador Riley addressed the galaxy in a powerful speech. The Council thrives on division. They will lie, bribe, and manipulate to keep us fractured. But today, we showed them the truth. Unity is our strength, and no betrayal can break us. Her words reignited the rebellion. The Takari recommitted their fleets, and even hesitant factions began rallying behind Earth once more. The tide, once again, was turning. Cliffhanger. Back in the Council's war chamber, Terrell seethed as he watched Riley's speech. "They're stronger than we thought," he growled. A shadowy figure stepped forward from the corner of the room. Their face was hidden, their voice a mechanical whisper. "Stronger, yes, but every force has a breaking point, and I know exactly where to strike." The figure handed Terrell a data chip. "This is humanity's greatest weakness. Use it wisely." As Terrell inserted the chip, his eyes widened. A slow, menacing smile crept across his face. "Prepare the fleet. Let's see how strong they are when we take away what they love most." The screen faded to black, leaving viewers on edge. What had the Council discovered, and how would Earth respond to this new threat? The final blow. The rebellion was fragile but alive. Earth and its allies had weathered betrayal and sabotage, but the Galactic Council wasn't finished. Their final gambit was in motion, a plan to exploit humanity's most sacred values, its resilience and loyalty. The question was no longer if Earth could win, but how much they were willing to sacrifice. The Council's ultimate weapon. In the depths of the Council's primary research station, the shadowy figure from Terrell's war chamber stood before a massive stasis chamber. Inside, an eerie biotechnological creation pulsed faintly, connected to countless glowing conduits. "This," the figure said, their voice still a mechanical whisper, "is the paradox engine, a weapon that can manipulate time and reality within a localized area. We will use it to erase Earth's rebellion before it even begins." Terrell, standing nearby, looked both awestruck and skeptical. "A weapon that alters reality. Can it be controlled?" The figure chuckled darkly. "Not entirely. But it doesn't need to be. Even if we can fracture their timeline, sowing confusion and chaos will be enough to destroy them from within." The Council began preparations to deploy the paradox engine near Earth. If successful, it would collapse the rebellion's structure, unraveling key events and alliances that held the resistance together. A grim revelation. On Earth, Admiral Chen received a priority transmission from a Takari operative embedded in the Council. The message contained a chilling image. The paradox engine, with coordinates indicating it was en route to Earth's orbit. In the Himalayan Command Center, Chen, Dr. Morozov, and Ambassador Riley stood before the holographic display. "This is unlike anything we've faced before," Morozov said, her voice tight. "If this weapon activates, it won't just destroy us. It could rewrite reality itself." Every victory we've achieved could be undone. Riley crossed her arms, her expression grim. We have no choice. We have to destroy it. But it's protected by a fleet of Council warships, Chen pointed out. Our forces are already stretched thin after the Varlic betrayal. If we launch an assault now, it could cost us everything. Riley turned to her allies. Then we'll fight with everything we have. This is our last stand. The final battle. The combined fleets of Earth, Takari, and the remaining Varlic loyalists mobilized for one final desperate attack. The Paradox engine, housed aboard the Council's heavily fortified flagship, Eclipse Prime, moved into position above Earth, protected by an armada of warships. As the Rebellion's fleet emerged from hyperspace, the Council's forces were ready. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. A chaotic, sprawling conflict that stretched across multiple sectors of space. Earth's fighters, equipped with Takari energy weapons, darted between Council destroyers, disabling their shields and clearing paths for the larger ships. Varlic stealth ships infiltrated the Eclipse Prime, planting explosives along its outer hull. On board the Vanguard, Admiral Chen commanded the operation with precision. Focus all fire on their flagship. The Paradox engine must not activate. But the Council wasn't about to yield. Terrell himself led the defense, piloting a massive battlesuit armed with plasma cannons. As the Vanguard closed in on the Eclipse Prime, Terrell targeted the ship's bridge, bombarding it with relentless fire. A sacrificial plan. Amidst the chaos, Dr. Morozov transmitted a plan to Admiral Chen. We can't destroy the Paradox engine from the outside. Its core is protected by a quantum field. Someone will have to infiltrate the flagship and manually disable it. Chen's jaw tightened. It's a suicide mission. Perhaps, Morozov replied. But it's the only way. Commander Malik, still recovering from injuries sustained in the Varlic betrayal, stepped forward. I'll go. I've fought too long to see this rebellion fail now. Riley placed a hand on his shoulder. You've done enough, Malik. Let me go. This rebellion exists because of Earth's resolve. If this is what it takes to secure our future, I'll do it. The decision was made. A small infiltration team, led by Riley, would board the Eclipse Prime and disable the Paradox engine from within. Inside the beast, Riley's team breached the flagship's hull, fighting through waves of Council soldiers. The interior of the Eclipse Prime was a labyrinth of glowing conduits and shifting walls, a design meant to confuse intruders. As they approached the Paradox engine's core, the shadowy figure appeared, stepping out from the darkness. They removed their hood, revealing a face half human, half machine. I was once like you, the figure said, their mechanical voice now tinged with emotion. A rebel, a dreamer. But the Council showed me the futility of resistance. You sold your soul, Riley spat, raising her weapon. We won't. The figure smiled faintly. We'll see. A brutal fight ensued. Riley and her team battled not just the figure, but the automated defenses of the Paradox engine. One by one, her team fell, buying her precious seconds to reach the core. The final choice. Riley reached the Paradox engine's control panel, but the mechanism to disable it required an override, a process that would trap her in the core as it destabilized. Admiral Chen's voice came through her comms. Riley, you don't have to do this. We'll find another way. Riley smiled faintly. There is no other way, Admiral. Earth's survival is worth more than one life. As the Paradox engine began to destabilize, the Council's forces panicked. Terrell, still in his battlesuit, tried to flee but was intercepted by Malik, who destroyed the suit in a fiery explosion, sacrificing himself to take down the Council's leader. A new dawn. The Paradox engine imploded, taking the Eclipse Prime and much of the Council's fleet with it. Riley's sacrifice had ensured the rebellion's survival and the Council's defeat. In the aftermath, Earth and its allies rallied the galaxy's oppressed civilizations. The Galactic Council, fractured and leaderless, collapsed under the weight of its own corruption. On Earth, a statue was erected in Riley's honor, her name etched alongside the countless others who had given their lives for freedom. Dr. Morozov addressed the new Galactic Alliance, her voice resolute. The Council believed they could control us with fear. But fear is not what binds us. Hope does. Unity does. And together, we have built something they could never destroy. Epilogue. In the ruins of the Council's core world, a lone figure emerged from the shadows. It was the half-machine trader, their body battered but alive. They gazed at the stars, a cold smile forming on their lips. "This isn't over," they whispered, their voice echoing in the silence. Not by a long shot. The screen faded to black, leaving viewers with a lingering question. Had the galaxy truly found peace, or was a new threat already rising in the darkness?